Upstate Golf Guys, we're back again. Grip it, rip it, let it fly. We play to win, never lay up. That's the play. From tee to green, golfing every day. With RGB, scram, 518, Mikey and Anthony. Then hot dreams, feel the breeze. Fairways calling down the tees. Roll it smooth, Lombardi's tight. Drip on the green, yeah, we're rolling right. Addicted to gold, we're on the dance floor. Tee it up once, then we want more. More swing and shine, we're keeping score. Tee it up once, then we want more. Hey! Then we want more. Hey! Then we want more. Early shots at Fair Park, rise and grind. Upstate crew locked in that perfect line. From sun swings to twilight fades. Upstate vibes, no charades. Anthony's on the mic, passion's pure. Golfing crew, that's the cure. Addicted to gold, we're on the dance floor. Hit that fade, then chase for more. For Upstate heart, we ride the score. Tee it up once, then we want more. Oh, then we want more. Oh, then we want more.
And welcome back to another episode of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast. I have my co-host RGB with me. How you doing, Raj?
What's up, man?
Not much, brother. Not much. We have a fun one tonight. We are going to go outside of the golf world. But before we get the party started, I love to give my sponsors a shout out. We have Trouble Off the Tee. He has some awesome hats from I'll Never Lay Up. There it is, Raj, to I'll Go Alone.
Look at that. On point.
With an awesome playlist in each hat for those who like to listen to music on the golf course. And then he's, of course, has the audiobook, which is an interesting story. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's about a guy who has it all to go to the PGA and just steps in shit along the way. That's how I like to describe it. So it's it's a
Not
really
in a
good
good
story.
way.
Not in a good way, but it's a great audiobook. So check out TroubleOffTheTee.com and use Upstate 20 at checkout to save 20%. And then, of course, check my guy Shoe Dog out over at 88linksgolf.com. He has everything from shirts to hats to ball markers to tees. And then, of course, his shoes are where it's at. The guy has some clean stuff. Check that out. You just can't go wrong with 88 Links Golf shoes. Shoe Dog has been doing it for a long time. So go to 88linksgolf.com and use
Yes, sir.
Upstate 20 at checkout to save 20%. So, Raj, we're at
What we got tonight, man?
We're at episode 104. If you rewind all the way back, and my listeners who have been listening along the way, if you rewind back to episode 25, I had a writer and creator, woman by the name of Rebecca Cutter on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And she created this show that I became addicted to, absolutely hooked. Show is Hightown.
So, Ant, you've been telling me to watch this show for so long. I was on Stars. I did have Stars. I was into the Power series. Was locked into that. And with a 7-year-old, there's not too much. 7-year-old and the amount of golf I play, there's not too much free time to sit down and watch a show. Well, recently Hightown comes out on Netflix, a little bit more accessible on Netflix. Boom, I can always sit down, pause it, remember where I left off, that kind of thing. And not only that, it was something that the wife was into. So when we can find a show that me and her can watch, it makes watching the series that much more easier because, like, all right, what are you doing? Let's put our show on. Boom, that's what we're doing. And that's what we have with Hightown here. And you got me kind of locked in. I didn't finish it yet. So, I mean, you guys can spoil it away from me, obviously. Today,
we have a special guest, Raj. I'm going to get right into it. We have the dangerous drug trafficker running Cape Cod. I know him as Osito. I might call you Osito during this podcast, Atkins. I want to give you a quick shout out for everything else you've been on, though, before we get into Hightown. It's not all he's done. He's shown up in a bunch of great shows like Lodge 49, How to Get Away with Murder, The Resident, Startup, Swarm, Inside Man. Welcome to Flash, and then he's got some great, exciting new stuff that's just came out, like the Fight Night, the $1 Million Heist, and then Netflix's newest hit show, another one by Rebecca Carter that was on #1 for many weeks, The Hunting Wives. But we're going to talk about Atkins' career. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Atkins. Awesome having you, bro.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you guys inviting me on. And, I remember watching the interview you did with Rebecca. I thought that was really cool. So, yeah, man, really appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, man. And again, I joked around before this. You're a little bigger than us right now. We've been doing this for a year. I feel like you're the big shot here. So I appreciate you for coming on, Atkins. I really do. But let's get into it. What really got you into acting at a young age?
Just being a fan, really, watching movies as a kid. And I mean, I grew up in the 90s, and, when it dawned on me that this was a job that people have, I always enjoyed a good movie, a good TV show, and realizing that this is something that people do for a living. I was like, I want to do that, but I grew up in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, and I was just like, the industry might as well have been on the moon. I just did not know how one went about pursuing a career in film and television at that time, but I knew it was something that I wanted to do, but it just took, kind of a long way around to get there. But really it just started off being a fan, man, just loving good storytelling, loving the art of it,
Mm-hmm.
So was there anybody specific that you were a fan of that inspired you?
I mean, there's nobody that's jumping out to mind. I just remember thinking, the person who really motivated me was my brother. My older brother actually started acting, before I did, and watching him doing like plays and shows, it was like, I was like, oh, okay, like he's doing it, man. It's like, this is something that we talked about. And he kind of found somewhat of a way to do those things. Like, it was like I was always kind of following in his footsteps. There's lots of actors who I love to watch and who I'm motivated by. Obviously the people who we think about, the Denzels, the Kurt Russell Crowes, Viola Davises. There's so many great performers out there that we watch their work and we're just like enamored by them. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people out there who I watch and I'm just like continuously inspired by. But the person who really got me going was my brother.
That's awesome.
What you just said too is kind of why the reason I started watching Hightown, because I used to watch Chicago Fire, and it was pretty easy to watch Monica Raymond. My wife was also a fan of her. And then 13 Hours is one of my favorite movies. So you had James Dale on there.
Yep.
13. Yeah. So, and then also watching the Power series. Oh man, what was the young kid's name? He was on the Power spinoff.
Junior, right?
Yeah.
Forrest Junior. Yeah.
Junior's another one of my favorites, and I don't want to tell any spoilers. And am I allowed to do spoilers now? The show has been out for
it's on Netflix,
long.
Man. I mean, it's good.
But I'm going to say that I'm not going to say what happens, but Junior is only in season 1, and I loved his character in the show. He was great. You guys had a special bond and a special relationship actually towards the end, didn't you?
Yeah, man. Shane Harper, who plays Junior.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Dude, just a great guy. Like, and when you're doing shows and the way the schedule breaks down, like, I don't always get to work with everybody, like in the course of the season, I imagine I probably had at least one scene with each of the main, actors on the show. But the person who I worked with the most, like, days in and out was Shane. Mm-hmm. So we became super cool. I mean, we're both, the first season shot in New York. And so we're both there in New York. And anytime we had off, we'd go see a movie. That is kind of a little interesting thing. Me, him, and also, oh my gosh, I can't believe Edmund Donovan, who played Kizzle.
Yep.
We all hung out a good bit, and we actually all went to go see John Wick. I want to say it might have been the third I want to say third or fourth John Wick movie, we all went to go see that together. So that was the kind of thing. It's just like literally we just really became like really close friends. He's like somebody who I still consider a good friend.
The badass
And
boys, the badass crews of Hightown
man.
hanging out.
Those were the guys, man. We hung out a
Yeah.
good bit, man. I mean, I love everybody on the cast, but we really got close.
But
Yeah, I
that
gotta
also
say-
makes it easier transitioning to the screen because
Yeah.
you have that chemistry and you got the vibe going. So you're not, necessarily acting. It's just flowing at that point.
Absolutely, man. And you know
Yeah.
what's crazy is like it's just like, sometimes you work on a show and there's all kinds of different personalities on there. You never know who you're going to work with and how you're going to vibe.
Mhm.
And sometimes you work on the set and it's tough. And I've definitely walked into shows where it was like the honeymoon is over and people are just like, either at each other's throats or like they're waiting for this to be done or wrapped or whatever. Never had that feeling on Hightown, man.
Yeah.
Everybody was just awesome and really enjoyed working together, and we all really loved this project. And it was just really cool. And like you guys were talking about, Anthony was talking about with Junior's character only being in that first season. I didn't realize that was a thing until the last I got to shoot with him. Like that day is when I realized that was going to be it. And I was like, damn, man, like I was
Oh shit!
really played into that scene because I was like, man, like we've been
It's
spending
tough.
like, this whole shoot together. And now to find out that that's kind of it, So I was like, man, like that wasn't just the story. That was really like, man, that kind of, I'm feeling some way about that. So
But they want to see your reaction though on screen, so they want to see it and like kind of how you're going to react. Because if you knew it was coming, you might have responded a different type of way, emotionally and everything else.
Yep. So it's
Yeah.
funny. I think there's a story. Steven Spielberg with Goonies. He didn't let any of the kids see the ship. At the final.
They didn't
season
even
when
know
came
about it.
until they came down. He wanted the actual reaction of their first time seeing that ship.
yeah.
The Willie
Yeah.
ship with the gold, and so maybe it is something that directors do, and they don't want to tell you what's going to happen because they want to see that true.
Yeah. I mean,
true
when
feelings.
I spoke to him, he was like, he knew pretty early on, but I was sitting there like, what?
Damn.
And I talked to nobody else in the cast really knew until we got that script,
Is that
Um,
normally how it works in your experience with like other roles you've had or scripts you've read that the outcome, or is it usually to the point where it's a surprise effect or something like that when a big character goes out?
It depends. I mean, as far as working on series, it's movie is different because a movie you're gonna get the whole script all at once.
script, right.
Obviously you're working on a series. A lot of times they'll shoot in blocks where it's like, okay, we're gonna do episode 1 and 2 at a time, 2 and 3 at a time, and so on and so forth. So for sure you have the scripts for the episodes you're working on, and they might have a couple in advance. Like if we're on block 1 where we're only doing the first 2, then I probably have 3 and 4 as well, maybe 5, depending on how quickly they're coming out. But you don't always know everything that's happening in advance. Like I said, you might know up to the 4th episode if you're on 1, but you definitely probably wouldn't know what's happening in the finale yet. So I remember going through the season and being a fan of the show myself, like I'd be waiting for the scripts to drop so I could see what's gonna happen. So when I'd get the email like, oh man, I'm checking, I'm reading, I'm trying to see just like everybody else who's tuning into the show. So, and it does add, we're actors, right? So we have to create that moment, but it is nice to have that, a real element to really kind of bite onto when it's like, for instance, and that's the situation with the Goonies, like having those kids have that real reaction. I'm sure that if they had seen it, they could have recreated something, right? But it would not be that depth of reality when it's like,
Right.
oh, you're really seeing something amazing for the first time,
Yeah.
That's the art of it. That's the art of it. People don't realize behind
Yeah.
film and everything else. That's
it,
why
for
Spielberg was the man, dude. That's why he created so many great movies.
sure.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. Still
When you look
creative,
at
man.
his catalog and the things he does, it's like those movies that you remember for a lifetime, like E.T. and
Yeah.
they have Indiana Jones. Like it's just like he really put something a little special into those movies, and I
They're
think
timeless.
Yeah,
They're really
exactly.
timeless. Like, I can watch those with my kids. I know Anthony probably watching with the girls. Like it's
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Hey, listen, you had a pretty big famous producer behind Hightown when I spoke with Rebecca. Jerry Bruckheimer
Yeah.
was behind it, so he's huge. He's huge.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. The show, it was really, I mean, a special project to work
Yeah.
on. There's so many really cool factors about it and stuff like that, like Jerry Bruckheimer, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of really cool elements involved in putting that show together.
But I mean, you said it earlier, the relationship with the cast. It seemed like something like no other. I mean, I followed all you guys, and you guys were having parties after pizza parties, going out to the clubs together,
Yeah.
It was a great crew. Was there anybody on that set specifically that you learned from the most?
I always try to be a sponge when I'm on set. Monica had some great gems and jewels that she dropped. She's been in the industry for a while. She also directed, a couple of episodes, and I want to say she directed at least one episode every season.
Mm-hmm.
But so I, definitely I would come and ask her about tons of things. Always picking her brain, and she was always super gracious and open. And anytime I had something to ask her about, she'd be completely willing to sit down with me and let's chat. But also working with people like I did some great work with Don Norwood, who plays Alan on the show.
Yep.
And it almost wasn't necessarily, I didn't pick up necessarily. I mean, we had great conversations, but just watching him work, he's such a great actor.
Yep. And
being in a scene with him, I just felt like I learned so much from watching his approach and the way he did things. Same thing with Badge. Badge is somebody who's been acting since he was a kid, so getting to watch him work and what he does. And yeah, man, it was just a wealth of great opportunities. Amari, Prison Break was a show that
That's
I watched.
one of my favorite shows, Prison Break.
Man, what a great series and what a great role that he played in that. So it was,
Awesome.
I always tell people being on set is the best classroom you can be in. As actors, we train, we do all these things to prepare ourselves to get to set. But really the best that I've ever learned about this craft and what we do is being on set and doing it, and the lessons that I've learned while doing it just in so many ways overshadow the stuff that you do in the classroom, which is a reality for most things. Like until you get in there and get your hands dirty and start doing it, like the things you see in the book is one thing, but when you actually have to apply it and, see the reality of it and, real time problem solving, that's when you really learn, can I handle this? And Hightown was a great experience because there were so many great actors on that set to learn from and pick things up from,
Absolutely. So what did you think? Now, Osito was hardcore.
Man.
So when you first read the script of Osito, were you like, damn, like I got to do this? Like, because I don't think you really ever played a part like that, did you?
Prior to that, no. When I got the audition, to be honest, it really was the kind of situation where I don't want to say that it was a throwaway, but it was like I got it and I was like, I'm not gonna book this. I was like, I had not done anything remotely close to that. And really I had just felt like that just wasn't in my wheelhouse. So I was like, I'm just going to have fun with this because I'm not going to book it. So let me just do whatever I want to do.
I'm not going to lie. You did an amazing job because you were scary, bro. You were scary. And then I seen you on Instagram and all the socials. I'm like, this guy's a big teddy bear. He's like one of the nicest dudes I know. I'm like, Osito's like, especially in the first season. I joke with you. I said, Osito got a little soft after he fell in love in jail. You got a little soft. That ain't you. That's the writing, but it's okay.
Yeah.
The first season especially, man, so hard. And I love like the scenes with like the police officers. Like you gave nothing. You're like you were just like you knew what to say as a gangster. You're like, and as the drug dealer, you're like, I ain't getting caught. I know what to say. I know what not to say. When the undercover came in the car, you were like, you were just eating your food. You were like, you bringing a stranger in here? You're like, what do you do? You're like, you were like, you just played such a good, perfect villain. But I always root for the bad guys. That's just me though.
Oh yeah.
Hey man, the funny thing is like when like I said, I didn't think I was going to get it. So every step through the process, I was like, oh. And then it was like, okay, you got the job. Now you got to do it. And that was a big shift, And I remember the first day, like the very first scene that we shot for the entire series was that scene in the car where the undercover comes in with Renee, who played by Riley Vocal. And me and Riley were both sitting in the, in the green room kind of before things were going. And we had a moment where it was like, we kept it real with each other. It's like, I'm nervous, like, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if I'm going to do a good job or whatever. And I was like, at this point, it's too late to, to be second guessing. It's like we're here and they've already put this responsibility and entrusted us to do this. So we just got to run with the ball. And essentially that whole first season, I was like, until somebody tells me that I'm not doing something right, I'm just going to keep doing, I'm just going to go with my game plan and just go with it. Absolutely. And as far as the character goes, it was like, I just tried to be like, okay, obviously I've never been a drug dealer or a murderer or anything like that. So you typically try to find, how can I relate to this character? And really, I was like, okay, I know that he has some humanity. And that was the great thing about the writing. Like, he wasn't bad just for no reason. There's so many bad guys on television where it's like, damn, this person is bad, but we don't understand anything about their motivation for that. It's just a bad person, Mm-hmm. But with Osito, I always felt like he could be anything. Like, he's just somebody who was the circumstances, the cards that he got dealt, he just played them, right? So as far as the bad things that he does, to him, he's just like, it's just business. It's not personal. Like, Sherry needed to go, so she had to go. It's not like he hated her or felt bad, but in a way, from outside looking in, that's colder, right? The person who can make those calculations, who is just like, this just has to be done. X, Y, and Z. 1 + 2 is 3, right? She spoke. She shouldn't have spoke. It's like, we all understand what the game is, right? When you run afoul of things, this is what happens, So it's not like, but to him, that's easy math. But for the normal person looking, it's like, damn, that's a cold person, right? But so it was easy to be in that space because I was just looking like everything that he did in his eyes is justified. It's not bad or good. It's just what I'm doing to survive, So
that's it.
How do you prepare for a role? Like, how did you prepare for that role? Like, what did you going into it? Like, what are some things you did for preparation?
Going into it, I mean, it was crazy because I really was kind of running by the seat of my pants. Like, I was working on Lodge 49 when I found out I want to say the last season of Lodge 49. And I was literally, my wife was pregnant with our first kid. So I finished up Lodge. They had to hold. I actually had to wait because my wife was due like around the week that I was supposed to go and start prep for the show. So basically, I was kind of on the run and gun the whole time. When I came in, it was like my daughter was born, and then 3 days later, I'm flying up to New York to start work. And so a lot of it was just like, I mean, obviously, I'm reading the script a ton and trying to understand who this guy is. Like I said, trying to understand what motivates him, why he does the things that he does. And thankfully, Rebecca and the writers did such a great job of just creating not just my character, but this whole world, right? That there was just a wealth of things for me to look at. So basically, it was just me trying to understand, like I said, how can I connect to this guy? What thing about him that I can reach and pull that thread and kind of, be like, all right, this is the thing that I can hang on to. Because like I said, there's so many foreign things, like drug dealing and all these other things that, as an actor, there's things that you can go and you can practice, or you can, like, if you're going to play a cop, you can do a ride along with somebody or whatever. I guess you could do a ride along with a drug dealer, but that might be a little dangerous. But so really it was just trying to find that in with him and understanding what his motivation is, why he does these things, and also what's his goal, like where is he trying to go? Because obviously from the time you meet Osito, you realize that he's not just, it's not enough for him to just be the side guy or just somebody's errand boy. Like the situation, the friction that became, or the friction that arose between him and Frankie was like always going to happen because you have two guys who have boss energy, right? And you can't have two people being the boss. Somebody has to be the underling or whatever. And it just never felt like Osito was just going to be just somebody who's taking orders to me, So, so I just took the time trying to understand the character. And then it's crazy because the longer I felt like I worked on it, or having that, being in that space, it was like by the time the second season came around, it was like the character started speaking for himself. So when I get a script, they're automatically, I already know how this is going to go, or how I'm going to say it, or how I feel about it. Like there's certain things, and then I'm like, I'm having debates about things like, I don't know if I would say it that way or if I would do it that way, because now I'm like, I'm really entrenched just in my bones, and I'm like, there's different things that I'm like, I feel like this would go this way. And it was like, I didn't have to think about my decision about things. Like it was just already there, So, yeah.
So was there any scenes, any of the brutal scenes that was tough to film? Maybe the hotel film?
Yeah.
Hotel scene, I mean.
Rough, man.
That was, listen, I don't know if Roger got to that part. I mean,
I didn't get there yet. It's all good. We can talk about it. Obviously.
Hotel
tough.
Scene was tough. Doing it was one thing. Also, it's like, okay, now you're having to do stunts and stuff and making sure everybody's being safe and careful and that sort of thing. But then, it's just a really brutal scene, and doing it was one thing, but actually watching it back, like I was like, I recorded it and I was like, okay. And then when the finished product came on and I'm watching it, I was like, damn, that was really hard to watch.
That was some good makeup too. I saw her face after and like the pictures. I was like, wow,
they did an incredible job.
Yeah,
and
man.
also, you have all the elements in the sounds, the everything. But it's funny, that day also Shane, was there with me in that day, and we shot with Crystal Lake, who played Crystal Collins, and we actually had ice cream. We had ice cream that day. Shooting that scene, like right before we shot it, they called like an ice cream truck.
So was that when you were? I know you guys went down to Wilmington to film. You guys did spend some time in Cape Cod, though, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I actually never went to Cape Cod. Like,
okay.
None of the three seasons never went to Cape Cod. Much to my, dismay. I was like, because every time they went, it was almost like kind of like the class took a field trip and I didn't get to go, because pretty much every other actor had something that they needed to shoot there. They took like a week or maybe a little over a week to go shoot things that you just can't replicate in other places, right? So everybody who needed to go would go up there with them and, shoot those scenes. But Osito never really had any scenes that needed to be shot specifically in P-Town or any of those places. So I never really had to go. So I was like, but then I'd see them posting their videos and pictures and stuff. I'm like, damn, like they're having a great time, but I never needed to go, so I never went. So
you're more than welcome to come with me next time. Us come party, hang out with us. We'll have a good old time, man. We got the place out there.
Man, they did the parade.
Come with the family. Stuff. We'll go to the beach, man. But listen, we're gonna we're gonna run my spree ad real quick, and then I'm gonna ask you just a couple fun questions, and then we'll get you out of here.
All right, man.
Awesome. Is your swimming pool looking more like a pond these days? Don't sweat it. Swimming Pool Repair Experts has your back. Since 2000, Swimming Pool Repair Experts has been the trusted name for top-notch in-ground pool renovations across the greater capital region. From liner changes and pool bottom refinishing to plumbing repairs, opening, closings, and stunning upgrades like lighting, benches, stairs, and decks, Swimming Pool Repair Experts does it all. Their expert team is ready to bring your pool back to life so you can dive into some summer fun. Because what's better than taking a nice dip after a long round of golf? Get a hold of Jim over at Swimming Pool Repair Experts today at 518-858-2587. That's 518-858-2587. Or check his website out, swimmingpoolrepairexperts.com. And don't forget to tell Jim that you heard about him on the Upstate Golf Guys podcast for that extra discount.
Boom.
All right.
Real quick, Amp, before you ask me, I got a quick question. I always wanted this about TV. Osito, Atkins. I knew I was going to do it. So when you're like working with Rebecca and other writers, directors, do they give you a lot of freedom to go like freelance off the script, or do you kind of have to stick, like, do some expect you to stick to the script exactly, or do you give?
It depends on what's happening. It depends on the director. Depends on the project. Some directors are cool with you kind of improvising and riffing. Some directors want you to keep it word perfect, you know, like if you're working for like Shonda Rhimes or Aaron Sorkin or somebody like that, like they want you to be to the punctuation perfect, right?
Right.
And they don't want you to deviate from that. But they write their shows in a way that it's like it's written so technically that matters, you know. But then there's other writers who are like, you know, yeah, I worked on a show, Bobcat Goldthwait. He had a show on True TV called Misfits and Monsters. And that show was very much open to playing.
Is that the guy from Police Academy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's crazy. He was in Police Academy, he was in Blow, he was in all
Yes.
that.
Yeah, Bobcat, great guy, hilarious. And he very much was like, you know, if I had an idea, you know, he was very cool with letting me kind of run with it, you know. So all in between, as far as like on Hightown, for instance, Rebecca, I think she gave us a lot of like, she very much released the characters to us, like, and let us take ownership of it. So if I ever had an idea, I felt very comfortable to come to her and be like, hey, what do you think about this? I didn't always get my way on that, but she was always open to have a dialogue or a conversation. And sometimes she would be like, all right, well, let's do a take this way, and then we can do a take, you know, the way that you want to play with it. And then, you know, so that was always a great feeling that it felt like she trusted not just me, but all of us with our characters to really kind of play. And I think that's what really made the show shine like that, you know?
I was just going to say that, like the shows that I feel like, I know Peter Berg does that a little bit. Courtney, Courtney Kemp, who wrote like Power and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they give the actors a little bit of freedom, and that makes it for more of a natural flow, I feel like. And it just comes off like the improvisation of it comes off more natural a lot of the times, opposed to like, you know, scripting. A lot. That's like even with the podcast, we try not to, you know, have a script. We want it to flow. It's similar, same thing.
Well, yeah, like, you know, and I said, like, you know, like once you start to be in that character for so long, like I think that you just can't help but understand who that person is. So then it's much easier to kind of play and be organic because it's in my bones now, right? So I if there's a situation, like I already know maybe 2 or 3 ways that this might be handled by him, or how he might say this, or how he might react to that. So if we get a moment where we can kind of go for it, and sometimes Rebecca would just be like, at the end, we'd get the shots that we needed, and she'd be like, okay, this take is for you. Do what you want to do, you know? And maybe we don't use that thing, but maybe something cool comes out of it. Who knows? But it was cool to have that space to be like, yeah, I can really kind of do something here, or play or flex or whatever, you know? So,
And gave her more stuff to work with to maybe create something, another, you know, because I feel like a lot of times they have a lot of the story written, but they never have the end written to where they can create different stories off of the back end. I know, like I said, I watch Power all the time, and there was a lot of times I thought I knew what was going to happen. It's kind of going on with Hightown right now, and all of a sudden I'm like, yo, what? Where's this going? You know,
that's good writing. That's good writing.
That's great writing. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hightown. I always say this, and I'd say the same thing about Breaking Bad. Actually, I think Breaking Bad is my number 1 favorite, and then Sopranos number 2, and then Hightown, because Breaking Bad had
never watched it.
Really, oh my God, so good. It just they tied up all the loose ends. Great writing with great acting. Sopranos, I think, was great acting, great writing. The ending, they could have tied up more loose ends. And then, I mean, to put Hightown number 3 behind those 2 shows, I think everything was great about Hightown. They made it so it could have been the end, but they definitely left it open. You know me. I'm hoping for a season 4, but I think Rebecca is going to be a little busy because of this show. What do you think, Atkins? What do you think, buddy? You think you think season 2 is coming? I didn't really I see any rumors yet. I kind of asked Rebecca, and she gave me the shrug. I'm sure you know.
You know, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Nobody to me. But if I'm, you know, going through the tea leaves, as they say, I think it would be silly for Netflix or however that works out for them to not go for a second season. I mean, it's the one show that everybody's talking about.
Oh my God, they really are.
I mean,
my wife watched it in like 3 days.
It's dirty, bro. It's dirty though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
they definitely push the envelope on there. But I'm like, you know, it's to have a show like that to where it's just booming, everywhere you look, people are talking about it. I feel like it would be silly, especially because it kind of fell into, not well, for lack of a better word, I don't know all the ins and outs of how the deal worked, but it wasn't originally going to be on Netflix. It originally was going to be on Stars.
Stars again. Okay.
But, Lionsgate and Stars ended up splitting. And when they did that, Lionsgate was, free to kind of shop that project around, and they ended up finding Netflix. And Netflix was very interested in it, and that's who ended up taking it. Yep. So I was like, for Netflix, you had this really great thing fall into your lap to not get another crack at it when everybody is asking for it seems silly to me. So I would be very surprised if they didn't go for a season 2. But you never know. Stranger things have happened, man. There's been other really popular shows on that platform, especially that didn't get another go. But I feel like this show was just like,
it was really good, man. It had a great storyline. Again, it was a little too. So it was funny. My mom and my dad loved it, but my mom was just like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "It's almost a little too much." I was like, "Mom, turn your head, cover your eyes. It's okay." I was like, "You're a grown lady."
That's me with Hightown. Like I said, I'm used to watching
that gets dirty
Chicago
too,
Fire and watching Dawson, and then I'm like, Dawson, what's going on? Like it's 2 different people. You know what I mean?
Well, I even told Rebecca, because Andrea's like, she's like, Rebecca really has some dirty right, because my wife, she loves it. She loves the show.
Wild.
So I told I said, your mind is in the gutter. She just laughed. It's great though. I mean, it's great writing. It is so good.
She does a fantastic job.
It's funny. It's funny that Hightown and Hunting Wives came out like within weeks apart on Netflix.
That's what I was just going to ask. Was that part of this start when Stars and Lionsgate broke up? Was that how they both came over to Netflix?
Well, Lionsgate had already they spun off Hightown like a while ago, like about a year ago.
Okay.
And I don't know how that process all went, but it just so happened to come out that way. I don't know if that was planned or what, but I want to say that they had to there's some time period before, because all this stuff is licensing, right? So there was a time period where they had to wait before they could even shop Hightown around to other places. So it might have been the thing where it might have just coincidentally all lined up. But there might be somebody behind the scenes who maybe decided that they wanted to have both of those shows come out around the same time. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I was like, because the thing about Hightown is I was like, Stars is, it's a great service, but most people don't have Stars. Not everybody has Stars. No. So, but most people you talk to probably have Netflix or have access to Netflix,
Absolutely.
So it definitely going to Netflix, I felt like it opened the show up to a wider audience, and which I think it really deserved, because most people who discover the show really like the show. So
I'm one of them.
Yeah. So I think that it was just a really cool thing to happen. If they get another season out of it, I would love that. I think that'd be fantastic. But either way, I think I'm just glad that more people are getting to see the show.
Yeah. I know Rebecca said that if she was to do a spinoff, it would be of you and Charmaine. She said that's what she said in my podcast.
Yeah.
You and Charmaine had a special vibe too.
Man. Imani is, like I said, man. Everybody who worked on this show, man, was just really cool and just great actors. But yeah, definitely the story that ended up forming with Charmaine and Osito really became a really cool thing. And, if it had continued, that would have been a really cool storyline to follow. And a spinoff, obviously I would have loved to have done that, and seen where that goes. Sure. But, you never know. It's business sometimes.
Let's know. We're going to manifest this. When it happens, you let us know. And when you got some downtime up on set up in Cape Cod, me and Ann are going to take the ride up and hang out. That's
there you go. We'll take you to your first trip to Cape Cod. That's it. All right, Osito, I'm going to run down. We're going to do some quick questions, shotgun questions. We'll run five silly questions here. All right, let's see. What is your favorite music to listen to before a big scene?
Gosh, it all depends, man. If it was Osito for Hightown, I would definitely listen to like some hip hop, like Future or something like that, to just get in that mindset. But I think it all depends on the character. Like I want something that's gonna, lean me towards what's going on. So, but for Hightown, definitely it would be some hip hop.
All
There you
right.
go.
Are you a coffee guy or a tea guy?
Man, it would be. I really don't do either very hard unless I'm sick. Like if I'm sick, I'm gonna do tea, but I do coffee every once in a while. But
All right.
I'd say more tea than coffee.
All right. What's your go-to comfort food?
Oh man, damn it, go to comfort food. I like cookies, man.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Hey, the Pepperidge Farm Montauk, those chocolate chip cookies are wonderful.
Oh shit, I'm gonna check them out. I don't know which ones those are.
Oh yeah, that's a winner right there with some
All
glass
right.
of milk. You can't
Last
lose.
question. Let's see. What's your favorite city to visit?
Oh man, favorite city to visit? Dang.
I know you just said you were at New Orleans because I just came back from there.
I
I asked
was
you were in New Orleans. How's
just
that?
about to say New Orleans is a great city,
Oh,
man.
I had such a blast, man.
Man,
Oh, so
I mean
awesome.
the food,
The
the
food
music.
is so good. The music, everything. They have all three: food,
Yeah.
music, and then the drinks. Open. I'm not even a drinker, but I feel like I drank enough in those 4 nights to like last me a year because just
Did
of
you get
all
a,
like the street vendors, open container, nothing. It's you could just walk around anywhere, bar to bar, jazz hall to jazz hall, and
Man, it's
Great.
almost like the Wild West over there. It's
It
like
is.
they let you run, But did you get a Sazerac?
I did not. I had
Yeah.
a muffalata. Have you ever the muffalata down there?
Yes.
Ooh, that's
Dude,
what's up.
it's just like, and also like the architecture. It's like
Yes.
feels so old there. It's unlike any other place
Yep.
you go to,
Yep,
And
the
also
tight
you can
quarters.
just, yeah, man, you're just walking down the street, and on any corner, like the greatest musician you ever heard is just standing there playing a saxophone or horn or
Yep.
something like that. It's really cool.
I was spending most of my money on just like giving street performers tips. That's what I told my wife. And like, you can't give them $1 anymore. I'm giving most of them 5s. Some of them like, and then there was the band of like, there was right on Bourbon Street. They were awesome. It was like an 8-piece band. I mean, you had the tuba, you had the saxophone, you had the drummer. I'm like, babe, how am I going to give these guys $5? I'm like, give me a $20 bill. I'm like, you got to throw a $20 bill in there, I'm like, because it's like, they got to split that 6 ways. They're hustling. I said that I'm like, we're from upstate New York, and I do spend time going to New York City, but I said the New Orleans is the real city of hustle, man. Those guys down there are
man.
Yeah, New York City's scamming. They'll hand you a mixtape and be like, yo, man, check out my mixtape. How much? No, it's free, man. They walk their feet, they hit you in the back like, yo, I got to get a donation for that. A donation?
Yeah. No, they do that. They do that. There's that everywhere. They got my wife and I. They came up and they put the beads over our neck, and I knew it was coming. It was the first night we were there, and I was like, oh, thank you. It was like anything you could donate. So I gave him $5.
Like,
I was just like, get out of here. Take $5, dude. He was like, oh, thank you.
No,
but yeah, New Orleans is excellent. New York's cool, but yeah, I've never been any further. I joke around, I've never been further west than New Orleans. So I'd love to check out like Cali or
I mean, I'm there a good bit on the West Coast for work, and I enjoy it because I mean the thing that I always do when I go out there, I got to go to In-N-Out for their the In-N-Out burger. But it's only as far.
Double.
You know it. I want to say that Texas is as far east as they come.
Yeah, that's where I had it. Was in Texas. I was down in
so you
Dallas.
can't get it past Texas, So that's if I'm in LA, I definitely stop at In-N-Out. But yeah, New Orleans, man, is a great city, man. I've always had a good time anytime I go to New Orleans.
The milkshakes are fire too.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, boys. Listen, Atkins, I don't want to tie up too much more of your time. I know you're busy. You have a family, beautiful girl. Two kids now, or
two.
Nice,
man.
Man. Yeah, me too. 2 girls.
2 girls, yeah,
Me too, man. Girl dad.
Look at girl dad.
That's us. That's it, man. Oh, I wanted to ask one more because this is a golf podcast before we close it out. There was one more movie that came out right around the time of Hunting Wives and Hightown.
Yes.
Did you happen to watch Happy Gilmore 2 yet?
Yes, I did.
All right. What are your thoughts? Decent? Okay, right.
I
went back and forth with it.
I felt like, I mean, the first movie it's hard to top that first movie,
I say, leave it alone.
Yeah, I felt like it was just like it was fun. That's what I was saying.
The first hour was fun. And then once they started actually doing the golf stuff, that's when it started. I thought
I enjoyed more of the cameos of all the golfers and all the the Paige Spranix and all all that. That was silly. That was the dude that Chubb's son, the guy that played Chubbs. He was great at the mini golf course. It was fun.
Like Adam Sandler was like I'm just gonna make a movie, which he always does, and I'm just gonna have my friends be in this movie, you know.
That's
so because you look at some of the cameos were so random, you know. I was just like, it felt like he was just like, yo, we're shooting, just come up and come do something, you know. So like I said, I think it was fun. I don't think it was better than the first one, but also I felt like if you're setting out to try to beat that movie, and I felt like we've seen a lot of those, like Coming to America 2. It was fun, but it's not better than that original. It's like,
sure. And you can't expect it to be. You can't. I feel like we go into them not even expecting it to be, because if
we
do,
talked about that, Raj. We kind of knew how it was going to be.
The only sequel I think was better than the first one was Bad Boys 2. Was better than the first.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. But also, I felt like they didn't wait super long. Like a lot of these, like, you know,
that's the other thing. Yeah, 20 years later.
Plus years in between the first and the second movie, you know?
Yep. So, for sure.
Yeah.
But all right, Atkins, what do you got coming up next? You can tell the listeners any projects you're working on?
I got a short that I'm going to be working on in next month, I believe. But other than that, man, I'm just out auditioning, man, waiting for the next thing, man. I'm trying to catch a wave.
Listen, you're gonna get something big. I truly believe it. Especially once a lot of these people see Hightown and see what you are capable of. I have to catch up on some of your other work because I'm slacking on that.
Hey, man, it's all out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it is, man. You have a whole slew of stuff. So, and you were on. You know, I saw the movie once, but I'm trying to remember when it was. You were on Dumb and Dumber 2?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was actually I want to say the second movie I ever, maybe the second movie I ever worked on.
Okay.
Was number 2.
Cool. All right. Yeah. I think I saw it when it first came out. You know, it's over 10 years ago now. So I got to go replay that. And I'll be like, oh, there's my boy Atkins.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun, man. Because I watched that first movie when I was a kid. So, you know,
what an honor to be
part of it. I was like, my mind was blown, dude. It was crazy.
Hell yeah, man. All right, Atkins.
This is awesome, man.
This was awesome, man.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Really appreciate you for sure, man. To all the listeners, I think they'll all really enjoy this one. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to another episode of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast. And thanks again, Atkins.
Hey, thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
High dreams,